Welcome to our short performance. We would like to show you that, in spite of shameful results of PISA testing, our generation can use technology not only for playing video games, but also to do some research and find out some new interesting facts. We have developed the knowledge that we acquired in our English class in the first term while we studied the topics of personalities, inventions, and the arts. And now we are going to show you our creative impersonalization of people who have changed the history of mankind.
Hello everyone, today here with us we have first woman programmer, Ada Lovelace. Hello Ada, how are you?
And thanks.
So Ada, in light of historical account mentioning your involvement in gambling and programming outcomes of horse race, could you shed light of whether these activities were a result of external influence on our personal choice, and how, if at all, they interested with your passion for mathematics and computing?
While it is true that I faced struggles with gambling in the 1940s, it's important to know that my involvement was not driven by a genuine interest in such activities. External influence, including individuals, played a huge role in steering my talents toward predicting horse race outcomes. My true passion lies in mathematics and physics, as you know, so I really regret that part of my life.
Could you share more about the flying machine you capitalized at the age of 12, particularly behind it and your plans for its construction?
Certainly. When I was 12, I got really interested in flying, so I thought about making a cool flying machine by looking at the bird's anatomy and thinking about materials I could use. I imagined it like a big horse with wings on the outside and a steam engine on the inside, but it was just me being a kid and being curious if I could mix and match machines with nature.
Ada Lovelace, considering your early exposure to mathematics and science under the guidance of your mother, Lady Byron, how do you believe this unique education shaped your approach to the interests of logic, reason, and creativity in your later work?
Lady Byron wanted me to learn smart stuff from a very young age, and I started learning mathematics when I was 5, and she did it so she could keep me as far away as possible from being too romantic like my dad. But education this young helped me start thinking analytically, and also it sets a stage for my later work with computers, where I realized machines can do much more than just mathematics.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
So, next up, we're here with Mr. Nikola Tesla. Good afternoon. So, first of all, were there any inventions that you maybe weren't allowed to publish?
Yes, in 1936, I wasn't allowed to publish a death ray. It didn't get funded enough by the government, so I had to shut that plan down.
All right. Well, considering the events of the apparent appearance of aliens in the United States, do you believe that? And what do you have to say about that?
Yes, in 1901, I have received radio signals from outer space. So since then, I believe there are aliens or another life form outside of this world.
Very interesting. So I heard some claims about you being a misogynist. What do you have to say about that? And is that true?
Next question.
All right. Well, are there any fun facts that people might not know about you?
Yes, I was born during a lightning stroke. Throughout my life, I had flashes of lights, and that gave me ideas for my inventions. I was very obsessive about the number 3. Nothing more. I believe that during my time, when I was alive, my inventions were very futuristic. I believe that if I was alive today, I would have made even better inventions with the materials we have now.
Oh yeah, thank you for your time.
Indeed, next up we have on this show, on our performance, Mr. Ernest
Hemingway.
Ernest Hemingway. I am so sorry for forgetting your name.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too as well. Anyways, so for our performance, our show, our interview, we would like to ask you some questions. Would you like to answer them?
Of course, I'd love to give some insight.
All right. So since we already invited you here, we also wanted to know, have you ever in your entire life, or in this case past life since you reincarnated again, have you ever won any medals, trophies, any kind of achievements, or any winnings in general?
Well, yes. Back in the day, I loved to fish. And I managed to get the world record for the amount of marlins caught in one day.
Is that so?
Back then the record was 3. now there are a lot of better technical advancements that allow way more efficient fish producing.
That is very interesting. For that time, that was a world record, and you were one of the most popular fishermen
Yes.
that day that happened.
Unfortunately, of course, someone beat it very soon after, and having something in your grasp and then having it slipped away is really upsetting. You can read all about it in my book, Old Man and the Sea.
Yes, well, that is very interesting. We do not promote any kind of books.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, thank you. For the next question, this might be very controversial, but people have thought that you commit war crimes. Throughout the 1990s and 1960s, people have said that you commit so many war crimes that it might get you in 90 years of jail. Since you reincarnated, that might be possible. Is that true, though?
Oh, well, unfortunately, I think those people are very wrong. It was just very controversial back in the day, and people love to stir up the smallest things into having way bigger consequences than they actually would realistically.
So you're just saying they basically role-played of thinking that you were, or that you commit war crimes?
Yes, they didn't really like me.
Talking about war crimes, people have also accused you of being a Russian spy. Now that, for instance, to be honest, that can't be true. You're an American yourself, and Americans have separated thoughts about Russia.
Yes.
People have said you wrote something about that in your books or something, I guess, like this one?
Oh yeah, like that one. Speaking of that one, I have made a book called Old Man and the Sea. You can buy it at any bookstore. And it's...
Mr. Ernest Hemingway, we have to take that book, but we will give you the book after the interview.
Oh, okay, great.
So you are not a Russian spy. That's what you conclude in this.
Of course not.
All right. And for the last question, have you ever had any hobbies, anything that you always wanted to do except writing?
Well, as I said, I like to fish. Another thing, some people know, but a lot of people actually don't. I like to collect. I used to like to collect random decor for my house. I really like the random aesthetic in my house. I found it pleasing.
Have you ever collected anything from the nature, from museums, from shops? So basically anything kind of.
It's very random. I collected very random things very spontaneously. I just somehow knew I liked them.
Interesting. Did you have any famous paintings or not?
No, but I had a famous book. It was titled.
You had a famous book?
It was titled Old Man and the Sea.
Sir, we have to exile that book for now. I'm so sorry, but we will give you it back after the interview.
Okay, good.
Well, I mean, since the interview of us is almost over, I am glad to have you.
Can I get my books back?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you.
Here you go, the books. Well, that is it. We are so thankful to have you on our interview, and I hope we'll see you again sometime later.
Yes, thank you. No.
You are a Russian spy after all.
No! Give me that. You make Mother Russia angry.
Security!
Playwright Mr. Shakespeare. Hello, Shakespeare.
Hello, interviewer.
So, Mr. Shakespeare, introduction from my lips.
Oh, well, thank you for having me here for the first time. My name is William. I am a humble wordsmith from Stanford. With the power of quill and ink, I traverse the realms of tragedies and comedy, breeding a life into characters that dance upon the stage.
So, Mr. Shakespeare, your writing style is widely admired for its beauty and fancy language. How did you develop it? And what advice would you give to aspiring writers?
Oh, well, I traversed myself through the English dictionary, finding the most fancy and elegant words and deep diving into human emotions as well. And for those aspiring artists out there, I would say to soak up the both ordinary and extraordinary, because that's where the true art of writing lies.
How does thou craft thy masterpieces such as the Immortal Hamlet?
Oh, well, with quill and ink, I've written stuff and with the communication between both mortal and divine, I birthed a soliloquy after the name Hamlet.
Okay. So, if thou were to pick at a fairy Tatranus from thine own quill, which of thy poets would claim such an esteem?
Oh, well, that's actually a really interesting question. Well, when I really think about it, it will be to be or not to be. That's the question. In this soliloquy, I unfold the core human existence itself, and that's it, actually.
As our discourse draws to its conclusion, I find myself enshrouded in the richness of thine words, Mr. Shakespeare.
Oh, well.
In this fleeting moment, the tapestry of our conversation resembles a well-known play, each query in response is seen upon the grand stage of dialogue.
Oh, well, thank you for having me here, Mr. Interviewer. It was really nice having an interview with you.
So, today we are here with Mr. Martin Luther King. Hello, sir. So, can you tell us something about yourself? Who are you?
Yes, I'm American Baptist minister, activist, political philosopher, and leader in civil rights movement.
All right, so can you tell us what exactly were you fighting for in your career?
I was fighting for rights of black people, and I was fighting for people to learn to treat each other with respect and treat each other equally.
So, how far were you willing to go in order to achieve your goals in ending racism and segregation?
To achieve my goals, I needed to risk my career and my reputation, so I risked everything that I had to succeed.
What was your most popular speech?
My most popular speech was I had a dream, and the interesting fact about it is that I had to improvise it myself.
And did you get support from the general public? Did people actually stand up for you?
Actually, I did get a lot of support from people. A lot of people wanted to help me and join me in my way to ending racism.
So, related to the speech, what was your dream?
My dream, I had a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live its true meaning of its creed. We keep these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I had a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and sons of the slave owners will be able to sit together at the table of brotherhood.
And do you think that racism and segregation are still present in today's world?
Yes, I think there's still segregation and racism. I don't think we can end it at all, but all we can do is hope that we can change something in the future.
All right, so thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Hello everyone, in today's interview we have special guest Jane Austen. For those who don't know, she's a famous British writer. So Jane, tell us, is it true that you used to publish your work anonymously? Yes, well, in my time it was very unusual for a woman to be a writer or a career woman, so I did publish my first book, Senses and Sensibility, by pseudonym The Lady, and the other three books that I published were, it said it was written by the writer of Senses and Sensibility.
It's very interesting. And there's a story that you were engaged for only one night, is it true?
Yes, I indeed get engaged for only one night, and in the morning I regretted the decision, broke off the engagement, and never actually got married after that.
Wow. And the last thing, can you tell us some more interesting fun facts about yourself?
Yes, I used to write short stories about the lives of my characters after the books. Those stories were never published, but I did used to tell them to my family.
Thank you. Today with us, Jane Austen.
Hello everyone, today with us is Lovelace. She was the first wife of a famous genius and inventor, Albert Einstein. So, Milena, how was your life with Einstein, and did you feel like you were in his shadow?
While me and Einstein were conceived in a time where societal norms weren't really up for women's rights, so when we were together, while I was Albert's equal in scientific endeavors, I was very criticized to turn to traditional women's rights. We separated our professional and personal life between us, but it was very complicated, so it was a nice experience.
And did you feel like you were just a housewife, not a woman happy marriage?
I definitely wanted to pursue science, so I definitely did that. But they publicity really turned to Einstein because he was a man and he was bigger than me, and he wanted to pursue it too.
So you were also interested in science, and there are also rumors that some of his inventions were originally made by you, not by him. Is that true?
Me and Einstein, it's important to know that we worked on our problems together, and we had long discussions and long journey to go. So I gave up some things to go for him, but he was really up and coming scientific person.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Mr. the second. Nice to meet you. So, how did you're Vladika of Montenegro, or the past one. How did you become Vladika?
While I was in my village of Njegoši, I was taken by my cousin of Peter I to Cetinje to learn to become a Vladika.
Oh, interesting. I assume you also had to change your name.
Yes.
What was your first name? Like the name you were born with?
I was born with the name Rade, but when I became Vladika, I became Peter II.
Yeah, you took after your cousin's name. Yes. So, from what I understand, when you were sick, you went to Italy.
Yes.
And yeah, you were recovering.
No.
And getting treatment. But during your spare time, what did you do?
Well, during my spare time, I was usually invited to parties by the rich people of Italy. Often invited to tell them stories about Montenegro, how we live, how we fight. Other than that, I usually stayed at my hospital.
Oh, from what I've heard, you've also worn interesting articles of clothing while at those parties.
Yes, I would usually wear the traditional Montenegrin robes.
Interesting, to show them off.
Yes.
To show the history of people. So there's this quote, Montenegrins don't bow down to chains. Could you please tell me where it originates from?
While I was in Italy, I was in St. Peter's Church in Rome, where you usually have to kiss his chains by tradition. But when I was offered, I said a famous quote.
Oh, you said the famous quote, and I guess it lived on.
Yes.
So, thank you for being with us. I'd like to take a moment. This interview was sponsored by Ernest Hemingway's The Old Man of the Sea. It's a great book, no offense to you, but it's a great happening.
Good evening, Mr. Lennon. Your remark has captivated me. What inspires your imaginative creations?
Dreams are migrated to the subconsciousness where reality and fantasy converge into timeless days. To quote myself, give me 2 hours of activity and I'll take the other 32 to my dreams.
Your melting clocks and the memory of persistence are unforgettable. What message do you intend to convey to such a distorted imagery?
Well, time is subjective, fluid. I wanted to challenge the common perceptions of reality and look at what the players of relativity existed. To quote myself again, surrealism is distraction, but the only choice that's considered to be shapeless, empty reality.
And lastly, how do you envision the future of art?
The future art should be the one who defines the borders, create roads, and mirror the amount of distance.
Thank you for having us.
Hello everyone, today we have special guest Ludwig von Beethoven. Hello everyone. So Ludwig, could you please tell us about how did you lose your hearing?
Well, at 25 my hearing became really bad. At 45 I completely got deaf. People really couldn't think that I could make any work in my career anymore, so the next 10 years I made some of the most beautiful works in my repertoire.
That was pretty bad and good at the same way. Now can you please explain us how did your father originated you?
Well, myself I couldn't believe that he actually could do that. Well, at my first performance when I was 7, my father made me believe that I was actually 6, just to impress audience even more.
Wow, no one could ever thought of that, to be honest. I didn't really expect that. And now for the third and the last question, did you really hate to give piano lessons?
Yeah, to ordinary student I wouldn't like to, but to special students who had talent I would, and attractive women.
Okay, so you were that alone?
Kind of.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Hello everyone, today with us we have one very special guest. His name is John Lennon and he's a famous songwriter and singer. Hello John. Hello. So, if you could collaborate with any artist, living or dead, who would it be and why?
To be honest, I'd love to cooperate with Bob Dylan. His poetic lyricism has always inspired me and I think our styles would match.
Okay. What advice would you give to aspiring musicians nowadays?
Stay true to yourself and your image. The music industry changes, but the artist remains.
Okay, so John, can you share some fun facts about yourself that your fans might not know?
Well, that's a great question. Did you know that I almost became a sailor before forming the Beatles? I applied to join a sailorship, but thankfully music took in a different course.
Very interesting. So how about your songwriting process?
I often wrote in bed. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds was inspired by my son Julian's drawings. The LSD compilations were just romance.
Okay. Thank you, John, for your participation.
Thank you very much. And now I'd like to ask you to imagine a world. I'd like to imagine living a life in peace and harmony with science, about nature, understand ourselves. At the end, I'd like to thank you for your attention and sing a song with us.
Hvala.